We're gonna do some. Yay, it worked.
Believe it.
It was
Yeah.
the it was the wrong one, Lily.
I'm telling you, where
It
can we go?
was.
Where
Where,
can we
where
go,
can we
Laura?
go? That starts off our morning. Where can we go?
Where
Yes,
can we go?
I love it.
Oh, okay, okay, Britt, I am handing it off
I
to you,
love it.
doll.
I love it. Oh my gosh, so fun. Well, happy Tuesday, friends. And for those of us coming off of seminar, wait to be here. I know that there's some of our people still traveling, some of us still on planes, some of us driving, some of us just hugging our kids for the first time. So, congratulations to those of you on. Just proud of you guys. We would love it if you would put it in the notes so we can all shout out really quick. What were your July wins? We want to know. We know that we're all coming off of seminar high and excitement. And and so we want to know, what were your July wins? We want to celebrate you guys. I do have some quick shout outs I'm going to do that we have from our national areas, that we have that information. So I'm excited to share that with you guys. But we want to know, blow up the chat. What were some of your really awesome, amazing wins in July? We want to know. I would say the people want to know, and I'm the people. I want to know. I'm nosy. I want to know what you guys did and how your July was. So put it in the chat really quick so we can celebrate you guys, and get this meeting off with a start. So awesome, awesome. Jen said beat our July over last year. Yay, Jen. We did too as a unit. I'm so excited about that. I love when you can really just find that win. So exciting. Let's see. Love the crown, Laura Gordon. Love the crown. Nicole Jones said she beat last year's July and hit her bonus production. What a fun July. That's a fun July when you're getting some bonuses and all the things. So love that. Tammy said humility and focus. July can be it can be interesting. So I love that it's such a great way to gauge and say, like, okay, like it can be a really great wake up call to just be like, we gotta do more. We gotta do more. We gotta show up more. We gotta give more, and allow that to be the thermometer, if you will, to allow yourself to raise and grow from there. So so awesome, awesome, awesome. We showed up in July and we were just present. Love that. Laura Hannah said July humbled me for ignoring what God called me and settling for smaller. Oh my gosh, Mimi, yay, beat July. I love it. Beat last July. That is so awesome. Okay, you guys. So I am going to do some just quick shout outs that we had for our area, since we have that information. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. So really quickly, congratulations to Nikki Shoup, who had a bronze medal in July. Way to go, Nikki. Let me grab my pom pen. I love it. I love it. Way to go. We had Laura Gordon, who also got a bronze medal. Yay, Laura, with her gorgeous crown. Mimi Novak had over 19,000 retail. Way to go, Mimi. Awesome, awesome. Ashley Borders, bronze medal. Yes, girlfriend. I love that. Erin Gray, bronze medal. Way to go on that. Let's see. Angela Dingman, over 2,000 retail and personal sales for July. I love that so much. So awesome. Rachel Bond, over 16,000 retail. Love those winning months. Angela Dingman, over 15,000 retail. So awesome. Y'all, I'm just going to do some quick national shout outs to some of my besties over here. The Lily Gotro unit did over 30,000 retail. Like, hot dang. Okay, y'all. You can have an awesome July. You can have an awesome July. We're seeing that. And Crystal Trochanowski, over 30,000 retail. I mean, hot dang, y'all. Hot diggity dang. So way to go to you guys. Let's see if there's anything else. Again, you're just joining us. Share with us in the chat, what was your July win? We're so excited, you guys. I know our time together is going to be a little shorter than normal, since we are all coming off the cusp of seminar, and we're just going to hear some really awesome wisdom from our amazing Lily Gotro. So we love you, friend, and we're excited to hear from you.
Yay! Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm stoked to be here. Today is going to be quick. I'm going to go over 7 things that I personally am doing now that I'm back from seminar. And I want to share those with you because I think sometimes, and I don't know if this happens to you guys, but like you get back from an event, you're exhausted. You feel like you have to catch up with the family life that you missed while you were gone. You have all these trainings and all these ideas and all these things. And you are like, okay, how do I make this my best post seminar Lily? Okay. And insert your name. And so I just really want to be intentional with you today. And I also wanted to be very intentional about not taking up the whole hour, because I also know that most of us are tired and we traveled and we've been away and we have also been poured into and we have been trained at for many, many days. And so most of what I'm going to say, you're already going to know. A lot of it is just mental things that I just want to emphasize and I don't want you to forget. Okay, so the training is called Now What? And we're going to talk about seven things that I'm doing as I get back from seminar, because you guys, I want seminar to count. Okay. I don't know about you, but I want it to count. And I would love it if you guys would blow up the comments. If anything I say, you're like, yes, I'm going to do that. Yes, I need to do that. Yes, I didn't think of that. And so please communicate with me as we go through these seven things. Okay. So I'm back from seminar. I want to make it count. Now what? Okay, number one, you guys, the very first thing is check and examine your heart. Check and examine your heart today. The first question is, how do you feel? How do you feel coming out of seminar? Now, you guys, listen, this is going to go one of two ways. You might feel on top of the world and motivated and inspired and ready to take over the world, or you might feel a little mad or discouraged or like, like, why wasn't I, whatever. Okay. So check your heart and really examine how you feel. I think sometimes we come back from an event and then we just like bulldoze forward. Have you guys ever done that? And you ignore the feelings. You don't check in with yourself. You don't check in with how you actually are feeling. And here's what that is going to create is it's going to prevent you from being excited to go to the next event if there is anything that you need to examine there. And if you're energized and blessed and excited, like Tammy just said, then you guys, you want to journal that, you want to bottle that, you want to acknowledge that, because the next time that you're in a valley in your business, which we all know happens, you want to remind yourself, this is why I go to events, because I came back feeling like $1,000,000 freaking bucks and it was worth it. And I felt blessed and energized. Does that make sense? And so on either end of the spectrum, wherever you are, it is so important to like remember this moment. Okay. So how do you feel? What do you need to process through? You guys, this is such a good question. Was there anything at seminar that you need to process through? Was there anything that came up that you need to process through? Again, I think sometimes we're just like, I'm going to come home and I'm just going to go. Oh, that wasn't number 2, Brittany. It's still a part of number 1. I'm so sorry. We're still in the check and examine your heart. This is just bullet points from number 1. Okay. What do you need to process through? The next part of that. Okay. Who was good for you? Who was good for you at seminar? You guys, I want you to make a list. Who was good for you? Who did you hear speak that touched your heart that you need to tap into? You need to follow them on social media. You need to see how you can tap into more of their trainings. Who was good for you? Who in your circle was good for you that you spent time with? Which of your roommates, which of the people you sat next to, which of the people you had lunch with, who was good for you? Who encouraged you? Who encouraged you this seminar? Who poured something into you where you left feeling encouraged? What encouraged you? Okay, so what are your highlights? What are your takeaways? I always think it's so important to have one nugget that's like a next step that I'm going to implement. But you guys, I also love to have encouragement that when I'm feeling down, I can go back and be like, this is what encouraged me from seminar. Okay, so what encouraged you? And if you can remember any highlights from the trainings, you guys, I would love for you to either drop a name of who encouraged you or drop a quote of what encouraged you. Because I just think the more that we repeat those things, the more that we talk about them, the more they're imprinted on our hearts. Okay. And the final part of that is, what made you feel icky or not encouraged? Was there anything that made you feel icky or not encouraged? And that might be the part of like, what do I need to process through? You guys, I want to really quickly touch on conviction versus shame. And I want to tell you guys that conviction comes from God and shame comes from the other guy. And so if you left convicted, and here's the difference between conviction and shame. Conviction looks like watching someone cross the stage and getting mad as in motivated and determined and saying, that's where God has me. That's where I'm supposed to be. Never again will I be here. Next year, this is where I'm going to be. That's conviction. That's like stirring in your heart to know that you are supposed to be somewhere different, okay? To know that you're supposed to be something more. That's conviction. It comes from a place of like, you just wait till I get home and watch me work, pedal to the metal. That's conviction. Shame looks like, why her and not me? Shame looks like, maybe this isn't my thing. Shame looks like being embarrassed or wondering what other people are going to think. That's letting the other guy win, right? And so I really want you guys to operate out of conviction. And if something or someone is bringing you shame, we need to process through that and we need to let that go. That is not from God. We are not operating from that place. We need to acknowledge it and then we need to abandon it. Okay. So that's number one. Okay. So number one, that's how we're going to examine our heart. Okay. Number two, the number two thing that I'm personally going to do right away is become an encourager. Okay. So number two, become an encourager. You guys, the best first thing that you could do when you get back from seminar is to add value to someone else. It's to message a team member and to say, hey, I loved seminar, but it wasn't the same without you. And I see you there with me next year. And I'm so excited for you. And I saw someone cross the stage and I thought of you. And if they can do it, you can do it. And she made me think of you. And I really want to run with you this year. And I just want you to know that I know that you have what it takes. And I'm really excited if you're willing to run with you. I'm willing. If you're willing, I would love to run with you because I see something in you. I'm not just reaching out to anyone. I decided to reach out to you today. And if anything else, I hope that encourages you today to know that you have a quality that your leader thought of you and wanted to reach out to you and wanted to acknowledge you. And so you guys become an encourager. I think sometimes we come back and we're like, bah, what do I do? How do I, my unit, it's August 6th. I feel behind. I haven't launched. Become an encourager. You guys, you are never, ever going to regret encouraging someone. And so add value to someone else. If nothing else today, add value to someone else. It is going to fuel you. Encouragement is like fuel for your vehicle. If we're not receiving encouragement, we're going to be on empty. If we're not giving encouragement as a leader, we're going to be on empty. And so how do people leave after they're with you? When you spend time with someone, like I want you guys to actually start acknowledging this. After every conversation, after every interaction, I want you to reflect on this. And y'all, sometimes it's going to be ugly. Sometimes it's going to, and I've done this where I have had to message someone after they're in my space and I had to say, hey, I am so sorry if I came across a certain way. I must be having a day. I want you to know that that's not who I am and that's not who I'm going to be next time we hang out. I think you're awesome and I know I'm awesome and it's going to be better next time. Okay, like sometimes you have to acknowledge that maybe what you just gave that person was poo-poo and not what you're supposed to give them. And so how do people leave feeling after they're with you? How do you react when your people are down? You guys, I want you to examine this as a leader. When you have someone who is down in the dumps, they don't believe in themselves, they have stuff going on. Who are you? Are you someone that makes them feel valued, heard, and believed in? Or are you someone that makes them feel ashamed? Because when someone is down, y'all, and they're already beat up, and their leader says, well, if you just did a power start, well, I told you to come to the meeting. Well, maybe if you just booked a party, like you guys, what if you said, girl, I believe in you. And I know you don't believe in yourself right now, and that's okay. You don't have to. You can borrow my belief because I have enough belief for both of us. And I know that when you step into activity, there's women that are waiting for you to bless them. And I know you don't feel like it. And I know you don't think you can do it right now, but I know that you can. And I'm so excited to watch you do it. What can I do to be a support to you today? What can I do to remind you how incredibly badass you are? Like, what can I do today because that's how I see you. And I can tell you don't see yourself like that right now. So you guys, maybe instead of shaming them and confirming what they're already feeling, maybe you remind them of how you see them and why you recruited them and why they stood out to you in the first place. And so be an encourager. You guys, we are supposed to be comforters and encouragers. Like, I really do believe that. And I want you to find someone who breathes like Jesus encouragement into you. Jesus never discourages people. And so I want you to ask yourself, what do I need to do more of? And what do I need to do less of? And you guys, like me, I need to do more encouraging. I need to do more encouraging, and I need to do less analyzing. And that's one of the things that I'm implementing is more encouraging and less analyzing. Y'all, they know they're not holding parties. They know they're not seeing the faces. Thank you for pointing it out. They know. And I'm speaking to myself here. They know. And you pointing out their wound is not going to be, it's not going to make them excited to book a party. It's just going to make them hate you and avoid you. It's going to make them say, I know what she's going to say if I call her. Never mind. But if they talk to you and they leave feeling encouraged, guess what they're going to want to do? Work and book and honor you and show up to the meeting. So be an encourager. Number three, and I got this from Jason Weaver at seminar, and it was one of my biggest takeaways from seminar. He said, Lily, working and progress are two different things. Working and progress are two different things. He said, you need to write down your 6 most important gaps to close this year. Your 6 most important gaps. He said so many people focus on their 6 most important things list, and that's really important. But he said work and progress are two different things. So if you do not feel like you're consistently making progress, that means that there are gaps in your business that you haven't been willing to acknowledge and you haven't been willing to close. So write down what you think your 6 most important gaps are. I loved when Kelly Filomeno said stuck can be a negative, but it can also be a positive if you know what to do with it. And so when you write down those 6 most important gaps that you need to close, guess what? You're not stuck anymore, because now you know why you're stuck and you know exactly how to get unstuck by focusing on those gaps. And so you guys, stuck can be a negative, but it can also be a positive if you know what to do with it. I loved when Kim McClure said, somewhere in the pandemic, we started doing less and expecting more. What are your gaps, y'all? What did you stop doing? And what do you need to start doing? What do I need to do more of? And what do I need to do less of? Okay, so number 3, what are my 6 most important gaps to close? Number 4 is create a do-it plan. A do-it plan. Because you guys, who was it that said, oh, it was Callie. I wrote this down. Deciding is one thing, doing it is another thing. So make a do-it plan. I think sometimes we dream, but we don't plan, right? We dream, I'm going to triple star. I'm going to earn my Cadillac. I'm going to whatever. Okay, but what are the gaps? What do you need to close? And what is your do-it plan? What is your action plan? What are you tangibly willing to do today that you were not willing to do last year, right? So a do-it plan. And I wrote in here, do something radical. Do something radical, because doing the same thing won't work unless it's already worked. Can we get that tattooed? Doing the same thing won't work unless it's already worked. So if it's worked and you've tripled starred and you're in your Cadillac and you've increased Unit Club and you're earning the trip and you're doing the thing and there's momentum and there's progress and there's growth, then keep doing the thing, right? But y'all, doing the same thing won't work unless it's already worked. So what are the 6 gaps? What is something radical that you are going to do? And can I just say, when I say radical, I don't mean work 80 hours a week, abandon your family, and see 900 faces a month. That's not what I mean. I mean, some of you guys need to start waking up earlier. I mean, some of you guys need to start putting your makeup on every day. I mean, some of you need to start having business cards in your purse. I mean, some of you need to start working out and prioritizing your health, because when your energy sucks, it is really hard to do what we do. I mean, some of you need to say no more. I mean, some of you need to say yes more. I mean, some of you need to be more courageous. I mean, some of you need to be kinder. Like, you guys, I don't know what it is, but radical doesn't mean, like, I think sometimes people think radical means abandon everything and, I have to work 90 hours. That's not what I mean. But I mean, if you continue to do the same thing that you've been doing, you're going to get the same results you've been getting. So what radically needs to change for you to be radically different? Okay, what do I need to say yes to? What do I need to say no to, right? More of, less of. What do I need more of? What do I need less of? Okay, number 5. Number 5 is let go. Let go. Let go. I loved when Katie Tupin said, you have permission to let things go. You have permission to let things go. You guys, I want you to know that nothing is wasted. Nothing is wasted. Someone said to me at seminar, she said, you know, here I am after all these years and I'm like starting over. And I looked at her and I said, no, you're not. You're absolutely not starting over, because 15 years ago, you did not have the wisdom. You did not have the experience. You did not have the people. You did not have the skills that you have now. You guys, nothing is wasted. I think sometimes we look at life and we look at our progress as so linear, and we look at this one scoreboard. And if we haven't increased in this one scoreboard, we assume that everything else that we did beforehand was for nothing. And that is so not true. I want you to know that you are where you are. You are where you are, right? You can't change. You are where you are. You are where you are today, but your journey is yours. And you guys, experience and wisdom means so much, and absolutely nothing is wasted. And until you learn to let go of that, it's going to be really hard to take the next best step. And so you have permission to let things go. You have permission to be a different leader than you were last year. You have permission to do things differently. You have permission to lead differently. You guys, you have permission to let things go. Okay, number 6. Number 6 is something that I'm really weak in, which is why I really need to implement it. And it's my dream book and praying specifically about the women that I want and visualizing. And you guys, I think the reason why this is so hard for me is because my dreams aren't materialistic. And I don't say that in a, like, I don't want a mansion. I don't want, do you know what I'm saying? When I dream, my dreams aren't like tangible things I can always put on a goal poster, if that makes sense. They're not things. But you know what I thought about is I really need to pray specifically over the women that God has for me to impact. And I really need to visualize. And the visualization doesn't have to be diamonds and the state. And if that's your visualization, that's beautiful. I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm just saying you have to visualize what will speak to your heart. And for me, you guys, the visualization are the people. It's the people. I loved my time with my people at seminar so much. I loved it so much. I love them so much. And you know, when you have a baby and you have your first baby and you're like, I could never love anyone the way that I love this baby. And you're almost like scared to have another baby because you're like, what if I don't like them the same way that I like my first baby? And then you have a second baby and it's like your heart grew and you're like, I don't know how. Like, I don't know how it's possible, but I love the second baby. Like, I love him so much, right? And I feel like that's how it is with our people. And seminar was such a reminder for me that I love my people. And when we grow, that means I'll get to love those people. And when we grow, that means I'll get to love those people. And so for me, visualization is knowing if I love the ones I have right now this much, imagine who else God has for me to love. And so you guys dream book it, pray about it, get intentional about it, and visualize it. Okay. And then number 7, this is going to like slightly be hard. Okay. For some of you. Number 7 is decide who your impact people are. Okay. Now listen, I know we say guard your heart, and I know we say keep your circle small. And I'm going to tell you this. I was listening to something today and it was talking about emotional intelligence, and it was talking about how the answer isn't always to cut people out, right? Like when someone's being negative or they're not like they don't bring out the best in you. The answer isn't to cut them out. And so then I came up with this. I thought I need to decide who my impact people are. And here's what that means. I'm going to write a list of who I am allowing to speak into me and whose opinion I will allow to impact me. Anyone outside of my impact list, I don't care what they say. I don't care what they think. I don't care what they know or think they know or think whatever about me. I'm going to decide who my impact people are. And I believe emotional intelligence is choosing who you allow to pour into you, and anything else that anyone else says, you also choose to not let that impact you. Because the reality is we can't cut everyone out. We can't. We can't control what people say. We can't control how people view us. We can't control who people think we are. But what we can control is who we allow to actually impact us. And so decide who your impact people are. You guys, sometimes you do have to guard your heart, even in the pink bubble. You have to guard your heart, even in the pink bubble. And sometimes you go and you seek and you're yearning to be seen or to be heard or to be understood, and you end up feeling defeated. And sometimes you don't get what you need from who you think you need it from. And I just want to give you permission to keep looking anyway, to surround yourself with people that will build you up, not tear you down, to have boundaries with people who do not bring out the beast in you. Decide who your impact people are. Who is it that when you surround yourself with them, when they pour into you, you believe their words, you feel like they see you for who you truly are, and they can make you feel like a beast, like they awake the giant within you. And I want those people to be your impact people. And I don't want you to feel obligated to have anyone be on your impact list that does not absolutely unleash the best version of you. You can have them in your life. You can hang out with them. You can talk to them, but they are not your impact people. I want you to have boundaries with who your impact people are, because you guys, it is not on them to make you feel good. If they're not your impact person, don't worry about it. Your expectation is like they are who they are, but they're not going to change what I'm about or what I'm feeling. Do y'all see what I'm saying? And so that's my final tip, is you get to decide who your impact people are. So instead of being mad, or instead of being offended, or instead of being like, I can't believe screw it, she's not your impact person, but your impact people. You guys, I left seminar yesterday and I called my dad. And my dad is my impact person. He's on my list. Is going to make me cry. This is how I'm going to end. But he's my impact person, you guys. Actually, I'm going to end with the story. But anyway, and so I've decided right then and there, that's who I want pouring into me. It's going to make me cry. But when I hung up with my dad, y'all, I was like, I can do anything. I felt so empowered and so heard and so understood. I felt like he sees me. He knows me. I spent time with him. I talked to him every single day. And I was like, he knows. And it's not like he's saying something to tickle my ears. It's not that. It's that he knows me and he like sees my soul. Do y'all know what I'm saying? That's my impact person. I'm going to put so much weight on that relationship and not as much weight on my non-impact people. Okay, so finally, here's where I'm going to end. Someone had asked me, because as you guys know, I've been in a season. It's not the pinnacle of my career, as you can imagine. Okay, some of you know that. And someone asked me, do you believe that you can? And you guys, I had a really hard time answering this, like a really hard time. Because it's not that the answer was no, but but the answer wasn't yes. And my belief had been shaken. And so I really started praying about this. And I was like, okay, how do you build belief when the results aren't necessarily there, right? Like without being fake. Like, how do I genuinely and authentically lead with belief when the proof isn't in the pudding, right? And here's what God gave me. Okay. And this actually came through the loss of my sister's husband, right? We lost him a couple of weeks ago. And I had this moment. I was in a parking lot and I had a complete meltdown in a parking lot, crying hysterically because I had to walk her children into the hospital to say goodbye to their dad. And I just couldn't imagine having to do that. I didn't want to do it. Lily did not want to do it. Lily had a meltdown, literally freaked out, had a meltdown. And I sat in my car and I started praying. And this is what God did. God said, number one, if it's this hard for you, imagine how she feels right now, sitting in that hospital room, waiting for her babies to walk in. And so, yes, this is hard, but if it's unbearable for you, how is she ever supposed to do it? So buck up, right? Number two, this is what I said to God. I said, God, I can't do this. You saw what I could do. That what I'm capable of is a meltdown in a parking lot. Okay. I can't do this, but I'm excited to watch you work. That's literally what I said to God. And I got out of the car and I walked those babies in and they got to say goodbye to their dad. And it was beautiful. and heartbreaking and strong and amazing. And I'm so grateful that they were able to have that time. And so here's the thing, you guys. Do you believe you can? Not always. Do you believe you can? No, not always. But I believe that God can. But I believe that God can. And so listen, I don't have to believe in me, but I believe in God. And I know that He can. And so I'm releasing this pressure to have to believe in myself, because the reality is that what Lily's capable of is a meltdown in a parking lot. But then I watched in 10 minutes how God completely transformed me and turned me into a freaking powerful, strong beast of a woman who could be there for her sister and their babies. And so do I believe I can? No. But do I believe that with God I can? Abso-freaking-lutely. And you can too. I love you guys all so, so much. I can't wait to hear what you got from this. And I just pray that you take those tips, y'all, and that we get back from seminar and we're changed and we're different, because we invested and we're ready and it's our freaking time. I love you all so much. Bye, guys.